Welcome, everybody, to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always, hosted by me, Chris. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 364. Today is going to be a special episode for many reasons, many reasons. It's one of the first times that I have actually not had a guest on the podcast. The last time it happened, I'm looking it up right now. The last time it happened was when I was moving to Chicago and waiting for my things to arrive. And I had zero editing equipment, so I just recorded onto my phone and released it as I'm still here. And that was back in May 1st, 2014. All the way back then. It is now January 31st, 2020. And the reason why... So I did a Instagram poll on whether or not I should have a normal episode or a State of the Podcast. And the reception I received was a lot of people wanted a State of the Podcast. And so that's what I am currently doing right now, this second. The podcast, well, the reason why I even did that poll in general was because January 31st is a very special date for me. That was when I first got into podcasting, and today marks the 9 years of doing podcasting in general for myself. And it's really weird because I remember when I first started podcasting, I never thought that this was something that I would fall in love with and want to keep doing for a good portion of my life. But yet here I am, and I've been doing it, and it's been very wonderful on so many levels, and the places I've gotten to go to and the people I've met. I'm all very grateful for everything that has happened because of this show. I don't want to say a couple, but probably for over a year now, I've been kind of feeling lost and trapped, which with the podcast in general, because I never want to get into a standard mode of, here's a guest, I ask the same questions, okay, see you later, cue the music. And it got to the point where that's how it was. I was doing 3 to 4 interviews a day for 5 days a week, and not all the time, but sometimes I would. And the whole reason for me releasing new, old previous episodes in December was to, quite honestly, give myself a break from doing podcasting. And I got it. I can't really say that it was a break, in all honesty, just because I was still scheduling. I was still releasing, these classic episodes, even though the process was super easy because I had already done the work. Past Chris already did the work, but it was still the same thing of scheduling and getting everything out. I even did an interview during the month because I felt like I couldn't let one of the many people that I work with down. And so for the longest time, I've just been trying to keep the podcast fresh for myself. Hence the way I started editing it now. where I take a snippet and move it up to the front because it dawned on me that this is my podcast. I can do whatever the hell I want. And if I want to mix it up and have it be fresh for myself, I'm going to do that. And honestly, with this podcast, it's been so many years. It's been 6 years. You got to keep things fresh. So that's what I've been doing. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, I'm all cured. I still feel this amount of work that I have to do to motivate myself to edit and post it out there. And I've been trying different ways or anything to get me out of this weird funk, but I feel like this funk has been kind of around other aspects of my life other than the podcasting aspect, just because I know I've said it in a bunch of episodes, but I have a film degree. And am I doing any kind of film work? Not really. Do I feel confident in my film work ability after not working in it so long? Honestly, not really. There's a huge lack of motivation, and I just feel so tired throughout the day, and I've been trying to fix it and address it and make sure that it doesn't stop me from doing the things that I like to do, because at the end of the day, I genuinely love doing this podcast. I love being the host. I love all the guests that I've been able to chat with, past, president, and future president. Past, present, and future. And that's I'm gonna hopefully keep doing it. But I remember during RTX this past year, I was chatting with Greg Miller. And if you go back and listen to that interview, you'll probably hear me at my most tired because I literally during the interview said I am so tired because I hit this awesome moment of hitting 300 episodes in 6 years of podcasting. And for the longest time, I always told, when I hit episode 200, I always said, it'd be funny if I went out on episode 400 and stopped doing the podcast. And the more I keep thinking about it, the more I don't know if that's going to happen, but the more I'm just kind of thinking, it could happen. Or in general, I could, stop doing the podcast after a certain point. It's not going to happen anytime soon, of course, so everybody settle down. All 5 of you, if you are freaking out. But yeah, I'm on a journey to find out what I really want to do as far as the podcast goes, as far as film goes, as far as myself goes. I'm not quite sure what I have in store for this world or the world for me. So I've been kind of trying to figure that out for, honestly, as long as this podcast has been around. But yeah, and that's kind of been the state of the podcast as of late. I've been trying, again, moral of the story is that I've been trying to keep the podcast fresh for myself. And trying to give everyone the same level of expectation when it comes to the podcast, which has been hard for me to do. Just because, look, bed is comfortable. My bed is very comfortable, and I have no problems just sleeping past the like a podcast episode due date, because I know I could probably edit these episodes out pretty quickly. But and when I sat down and said, "Hey, I'm going to do a state of the pod," honestly, I had no idea what I was going to talk about. So all of this, I'm just I should have made notes. I really should have made notes, but I didn't. Because that's not my style. But yeah, so I I really really appreciate everyone who's listened and who's been around since the beginning, the middle. Whenever you hopped on, if you could all do me a favor, no buts. If you can do me a favor and, leave me some comments, leave me some things you'd like to hear. That always helps me out, knowing that, okay, well, people don't like this. What if I try this? Because the more feedback I have, the better at steering the podcast the better at steering it is for me. And it also gives me a clue of what I should and shouldn't do, or should or shouldn't try. So, yeah, and I guess I don't have anything else to talk. I should. I don't want to end it on a bummer note, or like Chris, hey, pick yourself back up note, because I know I have to do all those things. But honestly, from the deepest part of my heart, thank you so much, everyone, for listening and showing up and supporting me. It really does mean a lot to me. And when I first started this podcast, Casper too, on my own, I was so scared because I had no idea what I was doing, even though I was already running a podcast. I didn't know how to schedule people or interview people, and now I'm at a point where I'm working with many publicists. One honestly wonderful publicists. They are the true champions of the podcast because they supply me with such wonderful people to chat with, and it's it's amazing. It's that thing where, obviously I can't really see all that I've accomplished because I'm still in it. But I believe me when I say that for everything that I've done, I'm very grateful and very humbled by everything that I was able to do and accomplish. And maybe one day I'll look back and just like, wow, to think that a kid from Salem, Oregon could carve out a tiny, tiny section of the internet and plant that flag and say, this area, this is mine, is truly amazing. I know people do it all the time nowadays, and everyone has a podcast. The explosion of podcasts that's been happening is exciting because when I first started, people didn't know what this was. Hell, I didn't even know what this was. And now people are getting jobs doing it. People are actively looking for podcast producers and stuff like that. It warms my heart that literally a position or like a job field was created, and I was there for kind of the beginning of it. And it's amazing. I can't really I can't say that I've ever seen that before or been in an industry where that's happened. And at least with this, I can actually say that this is happened. So it's crazy. This whole experience is crazy. I'll just say that. 9 years of podcasting. It's all been crazy, both good and bad. Um, all the podcasts that I've been affiliated with, even though I miss doing all of them that aren't around. I'm just grateful for the hours of content I was able to produce, and the stories and the jokes that were had and shared are all very special for me. I was trying to calculate the amount of episodes I've done, just in general, and that is a crazy amount. Hang on, I am now. I've just piqued my own interest. So, let's see. I'm doing 363. Yeah, I'm over 600 episodes of just hopefully quality entertainment. That's crazy. That's crazy. Again, thank you all for everything. Thank you for everything that you do. Thank you for being you, for all the supporters and the non-supporters, even the people who aren't listening, who will never, ever listen or stumble upon this episode. Thank you. Thank you very much for being a living, breathing human being. And, yeah, so, unfortunately, I feel like I'm coming towards the end of the episode. One more thing I want to say is that, I've finally, for the longest time, Casting for Two has had a lot of the same artwork, and I thought it was finally time to change all that. So now I have new artwork, same logo. I thought about changing the logo, but I just thought, let's start with the artwork first. So all new artwork is on the webpage, and it's stuff that I'm very happy to put up, because as I get older, the show gets older. And if anybody sees those photos that were on the website, that was me 6 years ago. Yeah, that's how old those photos are. So we got to update it. So I hope you guys like the new stuff, the new look of the podcast, I should say. But again, thank you, every one of you who are here with me. And let's keep going. It's 2020. Let's keep doing this, and let's keep rocking. And if you want to follow me on any of the social medias, Casting for Two, you know how I do. But again, thank you, everybody, for being with me on this adventure. Until next time. Well, when I say next time, next episode, which will be Friday. Every Friday. Okay.